All right, so right now we are looking on the television. If you don't have the benefit of the television, we're looking at fire that has been set, and you can see smoke going up in the skies. You can see vehicles, and we understand some of the vehicles are police vehicles that were bent. They've been bent, actually bent, completely bent. And that's what we are seeing now. And let's also hear what the lawyer for the people who were arrested in that incident had to say.
We are not satisfied that. Honestly, not satisfied. We intend to proceed probably to the High Court. Not to repeat the application of the High Court, apply to the High Court. For our clients to be granted bail. We are not satisfied. We felt that there is enough evidence upon which the accused persons needed to be granted bail. Because in any case, we don't see how this is going to affect investigations. Still, for that is what the court has said. And there is a step further that we need to take. So we are going to sit down and plan as to the next action to take.
All right, apologies for the bad nature of the sound we try to play to you. But I'll start with on the Somanya issue, and you know how the townsfolk felt that they could actually go into a police station and free their friends, and then later on, go to set state property on fire. It's difficult for anybody to understand. And some say, well, the politics of it is coming up, that this is being encouraged within the system for a while. So what are you surprised
Well,
about?
Indeed, I still stand by what I said earlier. I mean, however weak our institutions may be, and however dissatisfied we may be with the legal framework, constitutional framework, there is no other option, and there's no other perspective. There is no other choice than to live with what we have, hoping that, or encouraging our leaders to do better. Of course, it appears that the main mechanism, the absolute mechanism will be elections anyway. But we have no right to destroy state property. And I think that we should make this
They were demonstrating because they feel they have been overcharged for electricity bills, and they went to the ECG there to complain, and nothing is actually going on. And so they decided to block the roads, and now police come in, they say your demonstration has not been sanctioned, you haven't gone through whatever processes.
Yes. So you see, and people say, oh, I mean, education. I agree, but at the community, when somebody wrongs you, you go to the chief. They expect the chief to ask him what happened and ask the other person what happened before the chief rules. So in Tree, they say, so you cannot just say that this is half full or half empty. You have to investigate first. You hear both sides. So people in the communities have always known that there's something called fair trial or fair hearing. So when things like this happen and they take the law into their hands, and we reduce it into a situation where I say, oh, they are in the community, they don't understand how state systems work. I disagree. We all live in the communities. They said we don't expect anyone to point his left finger at his father's house. What it means is that you don't expect anyone to incriminate himself. So he will tell you a story that fits his purpose against another person. The point I'm making is that this is again another instance of pure evil deed. I mean, the criminal act, you are supposed to protect, under Article 41, state property. In fact, we should combat waste of state property. And when you turn around to then destroy it, what you have done is to have engaged in not just a criminal, but a very serious unconstitutional act. Okay. So I think that once again, the investigative wing of the police or other state institutions should investigate. People must understand that in all cases, however grievous an offense to you may be, or a liability to you may be, there is always due process. And they were insisting that the police should release, I think, the assemblyman, or then they will set the police vehicle, and then even the police station.
And by that time, they had already caused some extensive damage to the ECG offices,
Yes.
you know, a lot of destruction. We understand that, Doc. We understand that 7 of them have been arrested. There's about 4 more who are on the run. How should the police be handling this? And we understand, because from their lawyer's point of view, there are some of the people who were just rounded up because the demonstrators were supposed to be wearing red. So anybody who was seen wearing red was picked up.
Amazing.
Well, you know, people want to prefer explanations in situations that is favorable to them. I think that it was a lawless act in that part of Ghana, Somanya area.
It's not lawless to demonstrate.
I mean, before you can demonstrate, you need to comply with the Public Order Act as well. Non-compliance in itself is also a lawless act. And they went a step further to attack state institutions. All this should be investigated and then punished. You know, we have a leader who led his life throughout as a fighter for rule of law. If you are served with a bail, which you think that is improper, the same way when your liberties are denied, you can go for a lawyer. You can get a lawyer to challenge that bail on your behalf. So it's not when you are arrested by the police that you should be thinking of legal representation. When you receive a bail from ECG or any state institution that you are dissatisfied with, resort to the legal process.
They had gone to the ECG, according to them, complained, and they were also blaming the VRA, and they saw that nothing good was coming out of it.
No, the complaint, if you lodge it and it's not yielded the required response, magistracy and circuit walls are all over.
Right.
You know, if they are coming to disconnect you, you can challenge the disconnection based on the evidence you have. For them to then produce evidence of your consumption, so that the court will be satisfied that they are expected to disconnect you. Otherwise, they will ask them to connect you.
Okay.
That's the system we have. So don't go and engage in lawless act for you to be arrested and then you go and get a lawyer to come and bail you out. By that time, it may be too late.
Right.
Because we want to fight crime and fight it well. And no one will be protected in this regard.
And part of it, the education that we may have to give is that in some of these minor issues of smaller amounts involved and all of that, you can go to the district court there. You don't really need a lawyer some of those times. No. Just go there. The registrars will assist you. You put your case down in a format that is allowed. And you go there, they will deal with your case for you. You don't need a lawyer. It's not all the time that you need in some of these petty matters. Now, Clara, by your reading, do you think the police is overreacting, or that they also have to have a part of the blame to take for not being proactive in stopping this?
I am of the view that anytime we kind of mitigate unlawfulness by putting blame on somebody else, we don't help the matter. Now, one, it is interesting, the irony is that the people claim that when they make reports, people are arrested and people are let go. But this time, people are remanded in custody, then you go to set them free because you think they shouldn't be in custody. This points to a culture of impunity and lawlessness. Basically, it's almost as if people feel that they should be the law, or they should do what they like, and what they like should be the law. So the law is not what it is, but what they think it should be. That is not rule of law. The law is what it is. You have to comply with the law. At any stage in the life of a society that you think the law is not serving your purpose, you don't disregard it. You amend it or you repeal it. So once the law is there, you have to obey. If you think the law is not right, get your parliamentarians to either amend that law or to repeal it, to say it in simple English, to change the law. Right. But there is no justification to disregard a law because you think it is not working or you don't like it. And invariably, this is what I see is really, I think the honest view of it is just impunity and lawlessness.
Okay. Koku, what do you have to say about it?
Dealt with it substantively, even with the earlier topic. And again, it's not new.
Right.
Attacks on police stations, burning their offices and documents, it's not new.
Right.
You know, we have so many examples. I just saw Daily Graphic here. It's January 17th, 1994. Mob attacks police station. This is a German district, Goka police. The mob raided the residents and offices of the police, looting and burning property and documents.
You're
it's
saying
like
those who are justifying this, saying that, well, there's been impunity from the start of this administration are wrong.
But obviously, that's a political talk. You see, they start from the correct premise by pointing to some acts of impunity which are being punished or maybe not sufficiently punished and restrict it to an era. That's not fair. And you don't solve a problem that way, you know. So, but you had cautioned us not to talk politics.
Right.
So,
on the first issue.
I'm
more
avoiding
interested in partisan politics.
There's something known as Kwasiabinti logic, and I'm avoiding that. You know? So
Okay.
I side with the submissions that.
Yeah, Mosquito is listening to you. He will reply.
He's my friend.
Okay. Now.